talking about. She knows her stuff. And hey, there you are. Hey. Hey, baby, how are you?
Good. It's so good to see you.
Oh my gosh, our yearly check-in. So this is like we talk apart from outside of the year, just touching base, seeing how each other is doing. But the official, okay, this is like the coaching part of the check-in before the beginning of the year, setting me up, making sure that I'm reaching the goals that I said I want to set out. So for those of you that I'm gonna let Sophia introduce herself. I'm gonna let you know a little bit of my connection with this beautiful soul. And she is a dynamite. Trust me, it's like when I got to know everything, I was just flabbergasted, okay? Because girl, you're doing your thing, and I'm so happy that I have met you. You're in my life. You're so beautiful. Thank you so much. But I was at a place, I would say, I think it was last year, there was a challenge that one of my other coaches and mentor, Lisa Nichols, she was doing a Fit, Fine, and Fabulous challenge. And when movers and shakers are jumping in on something and you have the opportunity to join, I tell people, jump in and join. So she had a challenge for Fit, Fine, and Fab, and I jumped in, and one of it was the financial freedom part of it. And I reached out to the Demolisher, that she's getting to introduce herself. And I said, okay, Sophia, I need to hit Lisa's goals of what the Fit, Fine, and Fab was about. And I need your assistance. Give me a game plan. And Sophia's game plan was amazing. I followed it to a T. So you're going to hear her say, it's good to have knowledge, but we need to apply it, right? Right? We need to apply it. So it's good to get the info, but if you don't apply it, then it's just good information. That's all it is, just good information. So I applied what she said, and I was able to pay off some huge debt. Yes. And it's just little things that you just didn't know about which one to pay off first, right? And not just paying it off, but paying it off and improving your credit score. Right? So to me, I just want to pay off everything, right? I would just want to pay everything off. And you're like, no, hold on, Opa. Yeah, I want you to pay it off, but this is how you should pay it off. And this is the one you should pay off first. So with that information, I was able to pay off huge stuff. So I literally ended my 2017 like debt free. It was so amazing. So yes, girl, paid off everything. And my credit score it was beautiful. So going 2019, I started off university now, coming on the end of 2018. And now I have a goal of wanting to finish. I'm going into my third year. So I have one more year left. And I'm like, okay, Sophia, I need your help again, because I want to be able to finish that debt free, but also what my 2019 goals are. And how much I want to make, and also what I want my credit to look like. So Facebook family, you're going to hear my business, right? So there's a conversation I said I would just normally have with Sophia. And I said, you know what? Let's share this information, because when I spoke with you, I wasn't really on the whole Facebook Live thing. So now I'm in the Facebook Live thing. And Kevin Goin said, to just show everybody, what you do, so they can really appreciate where you come from, right? So when you give information. So with all that being said, this is Sophia, and she is going to introduce herself and tell you more about what she does, what she do, what she knows. And again, people, I'm in Canada, Toronto, Canada. Sophia is south of the border. So I know a lot of people think when you give information that, oh, it doesn't apply to me because we're in a different country. You don't really know what you know is good for America. But I'm telling you, I was still in Toronto when I asked her the information, and her information was applicable and it worked. So I want you guys to dismiss the border restriction that you think what she has to say doesn't apply. But trust me, money on the stock market, listen, you have people in Canada investing in American companies and vice versa. So money don't know any borders. Money just knows the laws, right? So how you make it and how you get rid of it. So Sophia, take it away and let everybody know what you do, baby.
All right, so I'm Sophia Melonē, the Debt Demolisher, and what I do is I help people cultivate a healthy relationship with their money and teach them all the basics and foundational principles about financial literacy, ways to improve their credit score, how to demolish their debt as fast as possible, and then not only that, position themselves for wealth so they can really understand the baseline principles to building wealth, which starts with building your cash reserve. So I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a facilitator, I do a lot. And I just love what I do. I love helping people in this area because I know that the topic of discussion needs to be held. And I want to make sure that I'm a part to be able to facilitate that in a manner where people could accept it, do it, execute, and achieve results.
Awesome. And just quickly, what started you on this whole, because I know a lot of people are going to look at you just like I did. And we'll be like, you look young. Like, what do you know? I'm going to be real. Like, you're just like, okay, because we think the people that know about this, they're really aged. And, so again, we judge a book by its cover and we miss a lot of blessings and a lot of opportunities by judging people by how we see them. And we think they don't know or they don't have the answers because of what we think the answer should look like. So what led you on this whole financial path of being a guru? And I'm telling you, you are a guru, because when people get to know you, you're going to let them know where to find you and know more about you. When they get to know you, they're going to realize that, yo, this girl, you're heavy. You're a heavy hitter. You are a heavy hitter.
Thank you.
So why?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Like I'm just happy I got your personal number. That's all I know. I'm like, listen, I was like, listen, I got your personal number. I got some other people's personal numbers. So I'm like, listen, I'm just happy I got you on my phone. I'm good. So tell them, your why.
Okay, yeah. So it basically all started where, similar to how you are assessing your goals at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year, I was at that same space and in that same space back in 2015. So I was going through and I was assessing my goals and trying to see what did I want for my life. And I went to a point where I compared my bank statement to my year-to-date pay stub, and I realized that the two did not agree. And I realized that I was caught in a rat race where I was paying bill after bill after bill, didn't have anything to show for it. I was in 6 figures of debt before the age of 30. So between car loans, personal loans, student loans, every kind of loan, credit card debt, I had it all. And that landed me in 6 figures of debt. And I wanted something different for my life. I wanted to be able to do what I love, work and earn an income, and not have it all go out the door. So I decided to embark on my debt freedom journey, and that was January 1st, 2016, and I never looked back. I got really intentional about how I was spending my money. I had to put myself in platforms and spaces where I could learn the information that I wasn't able to learn growing up in my household. So I had to learn and then apply, learn and then apply. And then the next thing you know, I was just paying off all of this debt. People started asking me for help. And I was just
like me. No.
And I was just coaching people and helping people. And then after like about a year and a half in, I went through Motivating the Masses campus, of course. And I was in Business Academy, and they were like, wow, you're so passionate about this. This is what you should be doing. I was like, oh, yeah. So now I coach one-on-one, I facilitate workshops, I do everything related to coaching people with finances, because I know it's heavy. A lot of times people don't want to look at their information, they don't want to look at their numbers, they don't want to look at their credit score. And I think this is something that we have to make sure that we do so that we can position ourselves for abundance, not only financially, but just in our lives, so we're not, high stress. So that's kind of where it all started.
And what are your credentials? Because I know everybody be like, okay, she knows money. So is it just because she was in debt and she read some books? Like, tell people your credentials. Let them know you got some education behind all of this stuff.
I do. So I have a bachelor's degree in accounting. I have 13 years of accounting experience. So I've always been in the financial reporting realm. So I've always dealt with numbers from a corporate standpoint, but I didn't really manage it too well from a personal standpoint, which is funny. I have an MBA in financial management, and I am also a certified financial education instructor, which gives me the credentials to be able to teach in the capacity that I do.
So she knows her stuff, people. I knew it. I knew it, but I needed you all to know it. So we laid all that foundation down and all that stuff. So now that was just for Facebook peoples. Now this is my stuff. So girl, so now I'm yes, right? Because I know they needed to hear that background, right? So my situation now, so 2019, and I paid off everything. So now that I paid off everything, I'm like, okay, I have my 2 credit cards that's left. And they were my lifeline through some valleys, right? Mm-hmm. So through your guidance and just being financially responsible, they're paid off. So now my question is, should I keep them both? Or should I cancel one? They both are points. One is points for air miles. So when I travel to MTM and do my MTM stuff or my MTS stuff, and the other traveling that I have planned for 2019 just to grow my vision. So one is for that. And then the other one is that I collect points for groceries because I got kids, right? So one of them, and it's racking up because I think right now I have $350 worth of grocery credits. Last year I had over like $400 worth of grocery credits because I use it, as you say, to pay I use the card for my everyday purchases that I would do a debit card for. And then I paid off the credit card. So I did it to, like, you know, if I'm going to buy groceries, I use a credit card for groceries. Plus I get double points based on where you go. I do it for gas, double points. So the things that I would normally tap my debit card for, I use the credit card for to get the points. And then I pay it off because I know I got the money anyways because I was going to pay it anyways, right?
Yeah.
So, right? So it's building my score and I'm getting points. So now I have $350 worth of groceries. That's on that one, yeah, right? And a zero balance because I'm paying it off. And then I have the other one that's a zero balance, but it has air miles, right? So I do for flying. But my question was at the beginning of the year, I'm like, man, I feel I should get rid of one. Like, you know, I feel I should get rid of one and, you know, just have just that one revolving one to build the credit. So should I cancel one? Should I keep both? Is there a benefit to having 2, or can I still keep a healthy, vigorous credit with just one? Or would my credit look better having both? Okay. So that was my first question. So we have a comment here from Joy. Hello to my favorite lady. Hey, Joy. Hey, Joy, Unleash. Yes, baby. Yes, yes. I'm going to get you on live here too because you got some stuff that I know the audience need to hear. So, mwah, love you, Joy. Love you, love you, love you. Hey. So yeah, so that was my 2019, you know, question for you for what should I do?
Okay, so when it comes to credit cards and you're making an assessment in that regard, the first thing that you want to look at is how long have you had that card? So if you've had that credit card, let's say for 5 years, like say for example, how long have you had both of the cards each?
So the Air Miles one I had when I was reestablishing my credit from divorce. So I had, I would say 2005. So let's say like 3 years now. So 3 years going on 4, 3 years for the air miles. And for the grocery one, I would say, approximately both were around the 3-year mark. Yeah.
Okay. So my recommendation would be to keep them open. And the reason why I say that is because you want to make sure that you have that length of history there. So when we talk about credit scores, we have to understand the components of what makes up our credit score, right? So the largest, The largest percentage.
I just got my notebook. Sorry. I got my notebook. Yeah. Okay.
The largest percentage that accounts for our credit score is our payment history. So are we making our payments on time? Not only for debt
Right.
accounts, but also for insurance and other things, utility bills. The next largest is your utilization rate. And I know we talked about that as well, how I shared. You want to make sure that you're not using over a certain percentage by the time that your statement closes or by the time that the credit card company reports to the credit bureaus. You want to make sure that you're monitoring that. The next thing that makes up your credit score is your length of history. So how long have you had a particular account open? So the thing is, the longer, the better. So if you have your account history open for more than 8 years or more than 10 years, that counts as a benefit to you. But if you were to close those two cards, then you're going to lose 4 years of activity, 4 or 5 years of activity. And, you know, so your score in that bracket will be pretty much drop. The other percentage or the other component that makes up your credit score is your credit mix. So this is, what are the types of credits or debt accounts that you have? So credit card is one that's revolving. So that's one type. Then you have installment type. So your installments will be anything like personal loans or student loans or anything along those lines. And then you have your heavy installment loans, which will be stuff like mortgages, right? So you want to, in order to max out in that area, you have to have a healthy credit mix. So you want to have revolving debt, you want to have some type of installment debt, and you want to have some type of long-term debt as well. So those all play a role in your scoring. The last but not least is the number of inquiries. So you want to make sure that you're not applying for credit or trying to take out any new credit or running your social more than one time, right? Within a 12-month period. So going back to your question about the cards and if you should close them, my recommendation would be to stick with the 2. And the reason why I say keep the 2 is because that allows you to have a larger credit limit. So let's say, for example, if your credit card limit on one is $10,000 and then your credit card limit on the other is $15,000, you have an overall credit card limit of $25,000, which means and normally what I say is when you have credit card debt, especially on revolving, you want to make sure that your utilization rate on that particular account or on that particular card is no more than 10%. So if your total credit card debt or your total credit card limit is $25,000, that gives you an opportunity to charge at least up to $2,500 and not have it impact your score too much. So if you took one of those cards off the table, that's going to reduce your availability. Yeah, it's going to take it down to 10,000, and then you only have to do 1,000 or so. So for leveraging purposes, I think it's good for you, especially because you have that control. And as long as you're disciplined in that and you're continuing to only charge what you would already charge based on your budget or what you would already spend based on your budget. So that way it's a wash and you're still earning those points at the same time.
Right. Awesome. Oh, see? So, you know, because in my head, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I just want to focus on one. Like to me, I'm just like, you know, I just want to focus on one. And you're absolutely right. Because of your previous information that you gave me through the Fit, Fine, and Fab challenge, like, and again, it's so funny. I remember when I was just starting to reestablish myself after divorce. So I know what that hurdle is like. And when you first go into like, oh no, you don't have, history, and because, you're starting over, I'm now getting letters that, oh, you're pre-approved. So each one of them are like sending me saying like they've raised my limit. And I'm like, I didn't call in and ask for a credit limit increase. So they're already pre-approving and raising my limit. And all I have to do is just call in and press some numbers to confirm, and it's automatically there. And I remember one time I called in, not for that, I called in for something else to ask about. It was something else I was calling about. And they're like, oh, just want to let you know, you've been already pre-approved. Do you want to activate it? And I'm like, activate what? Right? And they're like, yeah, you already approved. So each one of them, I'm so proud to say, and then that's another question I need to ask you. So I'm so happy we brought that up. How much should I accept for an increase? Because now I started trying to get credit, trying to get, and now each one of them, is like, I would say one of them is at least 20 just for one. And the other one, I believe, is up to 25 or close to 30. And that is not me asking. That's just because of my payment history, as you said, the revolving, keeping a good mix, paying things off right before, not paying, like all the little tidbits that you gave me, where they're like increasing. So at one point, I'm like, I gotta call Sophia and find out, when should I tell them, no, I don't want it, right? It's so funny. Isn't that funny? One time you're asking for it, and now I'm like, are they giving me too much? like it's too much. It's too much now, counterproductive.
And
right?
my standpoint on that is no. The more they give you, the better. It all it all boils down to your level of discipline. So although they give you a $20,000 or $25,000 credit limit, that doesn't mean that you go and swipe 25,000, right? Right. You only swipe what you have the ability to repay within that 30-day window. So it's leverage actually, because the higher your credit limit, the more you're able to charge, I guess, at one particular point in time and not have it impact your credit score. So remember when I talked about the utilization rate? So if your card if you have a $10,000 limit on one card, and let's say we're going to a event, right? Travel, we're going on an MTM thing or whatever. We're investing in ourselves. We're investing in a program. That program costs $5,000 or $6,000, right? If you put that on that $10,000 card, then you are utilizing 60% of your credit limit, and that is not good, right? So let's say if that company were to say, okay, we're going to keep increasing your credit score to we're going to keep increasing your credit limit to 25 to 50. That's an advantage to you, because then you're still able to make the necessary charges and be under that threshold where the utilization rate is not as high, right? And it's not impacting you from a score standpoint. So I always say leverage the increase, but just make sure that you're not maxing out on that increase. Only spend what you can truly afford to spend.
Oh, wow. That is, you know what? Thank you, because I was getting nervous, right? Catherine just joined. She say, hey, loves. Hey, Catherine. Hey. And Glenn, please say, hey. Hey, thank you everybody for joining. So yeah, this is good information, because again, I was getting nervous because I didn't know if too much credit or too much limit was a negative, right? So I was getting nervous, like when they're increasing, I was just like, okay, is this a good thing or is not a good thing? So I'm like, I got to call Sophia and be like, okay, girl, should I be accepting and saying yes to these things? So now.
And I want to add something too really quickly. It's a good thing, because if they are automatically raising your limit on their behalf, not at your request, that's a good thing. Because a lot of times, sometimes what people want to do is they want to request to increase their limit. So if you request to increase your credit limit as a consumer, that's going to count against you, because they're going to run your credit. They're going to do all of that to determine what your new limit will be. So and that can hinder your score, because they're running your credit, right? So you want to make sure that if the company is going to offer and increase the limit on their own without any impact to you and running your credit score, take full advantage of it.
Okay. So that's a caveat there. So when they're doing it, one, that is what you can say. It's like it's a blessing. It's like a pat on the shoulder. It's like it's a good thing when someone is saying, hey, we want to increase your credit, right? It just shows that they're noticing that, you know what, your credit score is good. You're paying on time. versus you saying, you know what, I think it's about time, you know, can I get a increase? So
Right.
when they do it, so when they did do it, it's not an inquiry. They're the one doing it for you on their behalf.
Yep.
So it's a benefit when okay.
Yep. Because
okay,
the minute you ask for an increase, they're gonna be thinking, well, why do you need it? Like, why do you need this increase? What type of financial hardship are you in that you need to increase your limit? Right.
And that's when they ask you for all the proof of this and proof of that and proof of this.
And they're rerunning your credit. Yep. Rerunning a check.
Got it.
Yep.
So girl, thank you. Because see, I called just to find out if I should cancel one. And then I'm thinking, yeah, you know, there's another question I need to find out about, you know, saying yes to all these increases. So that's a good thing to know. And then, so for everybody that's out there, when you get a letter or a call saying, you know what, you're pre-approved, say yes. Say, yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. But then, as you say, be disciplined, because you know what, they increase your limit expecting you to spend more. That's the whole thing, right? They're like, they're smart. They're like, you know, we're gonna increase it because we see she's paying on time and we're not making any money. We're not making any interest. So maybe if we increase it, she's just gonna go crazy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then we got her, right?
Yep.
So is there a time where they're gonna get caught on, where they're gonna catch on and they'll be like, hold on, we're increasing this girl's money and she ain't taking it. She's not spending it. Well, is there a time when you should kind of reward them for increasing and, like, you know, and make them feel like, okay, no, somebody's like, no, never reward them.
Absolutely
no, okay.
Not. Your consumers are your consumer dollars. I would not give my money away for free. The banks, right. So we want to be able to leverage credit to our advantage, right? So because if the credit card company is going to reward me, I'm not going to reward them by paying them interest. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So you want to make sure that you maintain that discipline. And what happens is because they know the traits and they know the patterns because they study consumer behavior. And because of that, they do these tactics to increase the limit and say like it's a reward, but they know that somebody is going to fail. Everyone is not going to be like you and I and continue to pay, you know, your bills or continue to pay your credit card in full. Everyone is not going to do that. A lot of people use credit cards as clutches, which is not good. And they use it as emergency funds, which is not good. You need to be building a reserve to serve as your emergency so you can actually have that cash flow in place. Because what happens with these credit card companies, people use it as a clutch and they put these high ticket dollar items on there and the interest is 20%.
And they can't pay it off. Yeah. And they can't pay it off. And then another, now you talk about paying it off. I know you answered this question for me personally, because, you know, when you're giving me advice, and I appreciate you, love you, girl, but I want to ask it, and I want to ask it for the audience, for them to get benefit of the question. Paying it off, right? Paying it off. And Catherine says, they study consumer behavior, rebuild a reserve. Yes, right? So instead of using the credit card as your reserve for that, you know, that emergency, I know you've taught me, have your own emergency fund. So when you have an emergency, you go into the emergency fund. But this is the caveat. Have your emergency money, use a credit card for the emergency, and then use the emergency fund and pay it off and get your points, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's the strategy. Yeah.
That's the strategy. You know, get your emergency fund build, have your money at the side, use a credit card for the emergency for the busted pipes, you know, the unexpected leak, you know, the unexpected car repair, whatever. Use a credit card for that. Get your grocery points, get your air miles points, and then pay it off because you already had the money reserved anyways. I got you. Right, Catherine? You got it, right? Yes, Catherine. I got you. Glenn says, good stuff, Sophia. I got to run to another meeting. Okay, Glenn, love you. Thank you. Joyce said, I'm the victim, so I spend more and go crazy. Okay, so Joy's admitting, girl, it's okay. You know, Joy's admitting that she's one of the victims that spend and go crazy. But now you're here and you're hearing from Sophia how to manage that. So talking about managing and paying it off, share with us what's the best strategy on paying it off. So let's say, okay, you do that big ticket item. Christmas just went. We're in January for everybody that used a credit card for Christmas and they didn't have the money at the side to pay it off. Money comes to them. Should they do a big lump sum, pay it off, or should they pay it off, let's say $1,000 today, $1,000 tomorrow? Should they do a one-time payment, a lump sum payment, or should they pay it off a little at a time? Having the money, they have the money to pay it off, but is there a good strategy on how to pay it off so that their credit looks good and they pay it off?
If it's a credit card, if it's revolving debt, you want to make sure that you pay it off. Pay it off. Okay. You don't want to have you don't want to have a balance carrying on your credit card that is no more than 10% or 1%. I mean, the lower the better. Like, I literally keep mine down to like 1%. And I tested the algorithm, so I test these things and I see how it impacts my score based on the payments that I make. But I notice when I keep a balance of like 1% of whatever my credit limit is, it drives my score up. Now, when it comes to loans or installment loans or things of that nature, what you want to do is you want to pay it down. So if you can reduce your utilization rate on that, in terms of if you have a $25,000 personal loan and you pay it down to $15K, if you drop 10 stacks on it, I'm telling you, your credit score is going to jump, because it also looks at your utilization rate on loans as well. They call it your loan proportion to the original balance is what they call it. So they look at that as well, but there's different scoring depending on the type of debt that it is. That's why I mentioned it's so important that we understand the types of debt that we have between revolving and then those installment type loans. So I just wanted to share that, and I gotta jump off in a couple minutes because I do have a meeting.
Yes. So if it's a credit card, pay it off. If installment, pay it down.
Yes.
Basically. Okay.
Especially if you have the funding, if you have the resources there, and it's not fully depleting your emergency fund or your building your reserve, then that's fine. Yeah. Because what you don't want to do is put yourself in a position where you're depleting your entire savings to pay something off and you don't have a cushion. So if something else happens, then you're going to end up running up the credit cards again or getting out the loan. So you got to make sure that you're monitoring that.
Well, thank you so much, Sophia. I appreciate you for giving the audience background information of yourself and also other information. You answered my question, which I love. Thank you so much. Joy says, I'm starting to look into stock investments. What are your understanding of stock markets? Now, I know you can share with them where they can find you, because Joy, that's an amazing question. I know Sophia is going to want to answer that for you. Can you let them know where they can reach out to you, ask you these questions? Because I know you have your YouTube channel, which is amazing. And you're also going to be at a summit. So can you just share that? Yes.
Yes. I was going to say, if you want to know about the stock investing, go to the Wealth Empowerment Summit. So
Joy, go to the summit. Go to the summit, Joy. But anyhow, so she'll continue.
So Constance Carter is putting on the Wealth Empowerment Summit through her nonprofit organization, which is Catalyst Community Connections. And they have a host of speakers that's going to be talking about investing, stock investing, real estate, brand strategy, debt demolition, all of these things. There's so many different topics that's going to be covered, but it's specifically more speakers that's going to be on stock investments. So if you want to learn more about that, my recommendation is to get in the building and get in the space. Tickets are available at www.catalystcommunityconnections.org. Lisa Nichols is the headlining speaker for that event.
Come on now.
So amazing. So I would definitely recommend that you guys get into that space and get into the room, especially if you're in the California area. Be there February 2nd, 2019. It's an all-day event, full jam-packed of information, all on wealth. And I know you'll be able to get a lot of insight, tips, and strategies specifically on the stock investing piece. So
awesome. And then where can they, and I'm gonna put that link in there when we get off so they can go there. And where can they find you have a YouTube channel that you give advice that you,
yes,
and they can send comments. Where can they go?
Yes, so the easiest way to get to my YouTube channel is to go to my website, www.sophiamelonee.com. That's SOPHIAMELONE.com. And that basically takes you to all of my social sites, my YouTube channel, everything. I have a lot of episodes, so.
Yeah, I know. I get them every time and I watch them. Trust me. So thank you so much, Sophia. I know you got to run. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to put the links to the sophiamelonee.com and also the Catalyst in here so everybody can get a hold of you and you'll be able to answer Joy's question. Joy, if you get to California, you're going to see your girl and Lisa and Constance in the room. But also you can also check out Sophia on her website and on her YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Sophia. I know you got to run. Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you for coaching me and everything I've been doing financially. I love you. I am looking forward to getting you up here in Toronto so you can do your thing up here and you can help a lot of us just get out of where we are. I love you. I know you got to go. Mwah. Thank you for everybody that joined us. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Glenn, and everybody else that has been watching later. If you're looking at this, type replay, share it to anybody that has information. I am in Toronto, so trust me, it is north of the border applicable. All right. So love you, girl. We'll talk later. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Love you. Thank you, Opa.
You're welcome. Bye, baby.
All righty.
Bye.